Alright, I'm making another video on Zippos because earlier this summer I had this beautiful idea of taking my Jack Daniel's Zippo that I have. It's up there. I'm not going to go get it because I'm a little faggot and I don't want to. Anyway, I had the idea of filling it up with gasoline just to test and see if, because the GIs, I heard that, well, basically the GIs in a war zone, what they would do in World War II and Vietnam and Korea, they just basically use whatever the heck they could get their hands on. But the most common practice was to put just gasoline, tie their boot string onto the insert and then dunk it in the jerry cans that they had, and just use gasoline. Well, turns out even with a fresh wick, because this is actually from this, I had trimmed it and I've used this Zippo. This is the one that's filled up with gasoline. I have used this Zippo for a while, and I've had to trim the wick several times for one reason or another. And because the first time I filled the Jack Daniel's, I thought, well, maybe the reason why it's not lighting all the time is just because it was a mixture of gasoline and lighter fluid. I actually left some lighter fluid in there, and plus it was very sooty, like this. Now what I did with this is I gave it time to completely dry out. I completely changed the wick out of it, and guess what? It still did not work with nothing but regular gasoline in there, which I cannot keep from dropping this freaking lighter. Anyway, it still did not work completely, but what I did find will work is a mixture of regular gasoline or naphtha mix either regular gas or naphtha with Coleman fuel, white gas, because white gas is a lot more. Now there's several reasons why it actually would not work. One was the soot on my other lighter that I'd filled up with gasoline. One was soot. The other thing was it contained ethanol in the fuel, which ethanol is very shitty and is not as good as pure gasoline. Now this is 100% pure gasoline with mixture of Coleman 100% pure gasoline, which is white gas, and plus regular gasoline isn't as refined, it isn't as fine and pure as white gas. However, white gas has a low octane. It still is more pure than car gas, so that's why you do not see a bunch of black smoke, because a lot of people will put gasoline in there and say, oh yeah, it works fine, but then there's just a bunch of that black smoke that comes off of it. And the only reason why this one isn't is because it's not pure gas. I tried this today earlier with pure gas and it didn't work. So what I did to remove half of the pure gas that was in here, regular car gas, I pulled this out and I got a jar and I put a little bit of the Coleman fuel in there, and I let this insert soak flat like that for about 10 minutes, and it seems to be working fine now. So if you're wondering if I'm going to stop buying Zippo lighter fluid and start making a mixture of naphtha and white gas and using that because it's cheaper, who knows, I may do that for this, but I guarantee you I'm not doing that for this or any of the other finishes, because it's a lot more crude and corrosive towards, well, not really corrosive, but more aggressive, I guess, if you want to say that. It's much more aggressive towards the finishes on lighters like this, and once a silk screen than a lighter with a heavy duty coating like this. Also, I had sent off a bunch of my Zippos that I needed fixed, or not my Zippos. One was Owen's Zippo, and another one, the other three were my cousins. Now I'm thinking on sending this Zippo in, just because if you look at the lid, it moves quite a good bit. It has a huge amount of overbite on this lighter. I don't know if you can really see that. Yeah, you can see that right there. Well, you can't really see at this angle because this camera is a piece of crap. Anyway, but it does have a tremendous amount of, actually, there we go. You gotta have it in all the way also to see the actual amount of overbite this thing has. As you can see, it has quite a good amount of overbite, which I don't really like, and plus it's beginning to get really loose really fast. I have no idea why. I don't know if it's just because I haven't used Zippo much. I bought it directly from Zippo, so who knows, I may send this in. But for now, I'm going to be doing, this is going to be number one alternative Zippo fuel. I'm probably going to make several of these. The next video is probably going to be on just naphtha. I don't have any naphtha here, or if I do, it's somewhere in the garage, and I don't feel like looking for it. I want to when just at my house, which I'm going to be actually back at my house in just, I don't know, 3 or 4 days, so you'll probably have another video in a few days on what else will work in here. So yes, Coleman fuel, mixture of Coleman fuel with regular gas. I'll probably also make a just Coleman fuel, just naphtha. What I'm really looking forward to is a mixture of naphtha and Coleman fuel, because that's a crude version. I don't know if I said this earlier in the video. I probably did, but I don't care. It's basically a crude version of this. If you look at the safety chart, chemical guideline, Zippos are full of 30% naphtha and 30% some other blah blah blah. Basically, Coleman fuel is what the other half is. Now, like I said before, I will not be switching from lighter fluid to regular Zippo lighter fluid to just a crude, whatever I can find around. Because the only thing that I'm probably going to be doing that in is this, which is this combination right here. Either gasoline and white gas or naphtha and white gas. Works really good. I'll probably burn that for a while in this just for the freaking hell of it. Because I just think it's cool that you can burn more than one thing through the slider. Blah, 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 blah. And plus, the reason why I'm using this one, and this will be the only one, is just because this is the exact same lighter. Well, not the exact same. It's not wasn't made back in the 30s or 40s, but this is the exact same replica of what the troops had and what they would have just basically put whatever they could get their hands on that would light in a freaking lighter. So that's about it. That's this will be, I guess, number 1 of BS you can put in a lighter and burn yourself to death with.